So, is this season literally just going to be the season of pseudo-sequels? Because we're getting another one here.
I think this is the season of. I told John this before we went online. I said because I took a couple looks at some of the they're spoiler free but plot synopsises that the boys at TV tropes have.
Uh-huh.
And man, I tell you what, the episodes we've seen and the episodes that are coming up, this season is called season 9. We're going out with a bang, aka season 9, going for the throat. Because man, they aren't holding anything back this season, and it is awesome. I admit but the only dud we've had so far is episode 3, and I genuinely think that was a fluke, because last episode the 200th episode was good. The last episode was really good, and this episode was, spoiler alert, super duper good.
Uh-huh. And I'll say this. When my wife wanted to watch it with me, she's like, "Do we finally get to go into the Tree of Harmony clubhouse?" No. Damn it, they're ripping me off.
Ha!
So, okay. So this is about Quibble Pants getting
Patton
into
Oswalt.
a relationship with a lady,
Yes,
whose kid
yes,
is a spoiled little shit, but for a good reason.
and very specifically, he is trying to get with a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had said that, and we read the synopsis last week, sure. But still, the fact of the matter that they were so upfront, the only thing they didn't do, they didn't clarify if Windsprint's dad was alive or dead. But, like, it was... I'm trying to articulate my adjectives because I appreciated that in a way that only this show can, was just so upfront. Was just like, yeah, single mom, this her daughter, this the dude trying to get with it, and the kid ain't having it. And I'm like, oh my god, OMG, yas, queen. I was all about it from minute 1. And by the way, can I talk about Buckball? Buckball has officially, and I'll explain this later. Buckball has officially become Equestria's version of professional wrestling. Here's why: a big stadium, a Hall of Fame, and charging ridiculous amounts of money for autographs. And I say that because this episode had so much world building, but like it was subtle. So Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy are freaking sports stars. They are transcontinental. That's not the word I wanted to use, but they're big sports stars. They're in a Hall of Fame, and this is a thing from later. They're in a stat book.
Uh-huh.
Their stats are recorded. I'm like, say what? Say what? And then
What?
And then after the game's over, when they're introducing it, and by the way, they didn't need to give me the history of Buckball anyway, but I appreciated they did, because world building right all over my face. And what happens next is there's this kid who's like, "Oh my god, it's you! I can't believe it's you! I can't believe you're you!" Go Team Pomeville.
Yeah,
so
right.
The kid makes the mistake of asking how much for an autograph, and Snails, who hasn't been seen in a fortnight, was just like, how much, huh? Cha-ching. And then Snips and Snails end up unintentionally starting BronyCon, or any convention ever, because they're like, hey, you see this famous person? Did you buy their merch? Did you go to the game? You own their stuff? Their face on your wall somewhere? You gotta pay to let them take a picture of you with them with your phone. And maybe they'll autograph a T-shirt or something. And I thought to
here's
myself,
what's
"Oh
funny.
my god!"
Now here's what's funny. I don't remember the exact line, but the first time I watched this episode, Snips gets those money signs in his eyes, and he's like, "Snails, you think what I'm thinking?" And I thought when I first saw this episode that Snails had said the line, "What sound does the hoof make?" Like, what is the clopping sound of one hoof or something?
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
just like, oh, if that's the case, they're just giving it to him at that point.
No, he said. I thought he said, "What's the sound of one hoof clapping?" I thought he said clapping.
Yeah, clapping.
Because if
But I
he
thought he
said
said
clapping,
no. I thought he said clopping originally.
yeah. If he had said clapping, the game is over. I don't need to see the rest of the season.
Right. And by the way, speaking of clop, 4chan already got to Patton Oswalt and showed clop of wind sprint. Now, knowing the implications of that,
That's messed
oh
up.
dear God.
Wind Sprint is voiced by Patton Oswalt's actual daughter. And what's her name? The woman he's trying to get with, Seabreeze or something, or Pine.
Clear Skies.
Yeah, Timbuktu. She's voiced by his actual wife. I think I mentioned this last week, but apparently the story is sort of paralleling. Patton Oswalt's kid was from his first marriage, but his wife passed away, and then he married.
Passed away suddenly in 2016.
Yeah, and then he married.
Now, first of all, I have to wonder: was his wife dead before he did the voice work for Quibble Pants? Because I'm wondering if that was a way for him to cope.
I don't know. Anything I've read about it, it says that it sounds like they had the idea for this episode. I can't tell if it was always with Quibble Pants, but apparently it was production's idea, quote unquote. Jay Thisso, or whatever that dude's name is. Yeah, he had said that it was their idea to reach out to Patton Oswalt's, wife and kid. But I mean, he okayed it, so I have to assume that he was. I don't know. Maybe there's some truth to what you're saying. Maybe it unintentionally worked as a coping mechanism. I can't really say.
Yeah, but I'm just like 4chan. What the actual hell?
Yeah, I'd expect that from Derpy Buru, not 4chan.
Well, I know that Derpy Buru hosted the picture, but I know that it was 4chan that brought it to Patton Oswalt's attention.
Well, thankfully, he can't be like, I'm never going to do the show again, because he ain't coming. The show's done. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so at first, I'm going to be completely honest with you, dude. Because the synopsis only mentioned Quibble Pants trying to get with the woman, and nothing about the buckball, I thought for the first 2 minutes until Quibble Pants showed up that I had queued up the wrong episode.
Yeah, I was just like, where's Quibble Pants and all this? And then I saw the tent with the Daring Do symbol on it, and I'm like, oh, there he is.
There's the nerd boy.
It's like, it's all with the bucking and the balling and the... I'm not a sports geek. What the hell is wrong with me?
Bucking and balling in the same sentence. I was just like, dude, I didn't know I needed that. Middle school me is so stoked.
Right? And I love how Quibble Pants is a nerd with Rainbow Dash, but Windsprint finds it fucking weird that he's a nerd for like Ogres and Oubliettes and the fact that he wants to get an almanac for her. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
To be fair, Clear Skies didn't really seem to have an issue with it. It was more of she knew how her daughter would react. At least that's what I interpreted.
And on it, here's the thing. I just wondered, and I want to get your opinion on this. To me,
Are you sure about that?
are you sure about that?
It's like
For John Cena.
are you sure about that? I don't know where that came from. I just know it exists.
It was from the Cricket Wireless thing that they did for the kids or whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Anyway, yeah, that's great. What would you want to ask?
So I'm just curious. Is it weird that I thought that it should have been where Clear Skies basically went up to Windsprint and it's just like, no, be nice, please. And then was able to talk to her later. But it seemed like she was like she said it once, but then it was just like you were letting her be a brat the whole episode.
Well, you know, I feel like just from my recollection of the episode, because it's a delicate issue, and I think the show handled it delicately. What I interpreted from Seabreeze's interactions was she was trying to coerce Windsprint into cooperating, not necessarily behaving. She didn't tell her to, stop frowning and start smiling or whatever like that. She just told her, hey, be nice to Quibble Pants. He arranged this day for us, So as if to instow a feeling of not obligation or even gratefulness, but to just remind her, hey, this guy's on your dime. It was like a subtle guilt. It was both a subtle command and a subtle guilt trip. At least that's what I got out of it. To be fair, I think Clear Sky's not reprimanding Windsprint more throughout the episode. I don't want to use the word realistic because I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting real tired of hearing the word, oh, that's so realistic from escapism media. And because it's just no. So my point is I felt it very appropriate that she let Windsprint be as she was, because the theme throughout the episode was she had to Quibble Pants had to stop trying so hard and just be himself, and Windsprint had to come around to Quibble Pants in time, which Clear Skies mentioned throughout the episode that she was certain would happen. So I think her not reprimanding Windsprint more, I think it makes sense.
Now it makes a lot more sense to me from that context. Because, yeah, it would kind of be like, we're not trying to discipline her, we're trying to make her understand.
Now, I'm not saying that all based on my perspective, because I have not yet been in a relationship with a woman who had a kid. Two of my brothers and one of my uncles, though, that's a different thing. Oh, Jesus. Poor Javi. She had 3. Anyway, my point is that, no, I think... And here's the thing. They could have made Windsprint way worse. They could have made her far more unsympathetic, far more unlikable, and then her progression as a character at the end, it would have felt hand-fisted and forced. No, I thought they did a good job of making us actually sympathize with the poor kid.
So, like, at that point, it's just like, it won't feel hand-fisted and forced. It'll feel genuine and natural.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to imagine putting myself in her shoes. Oh, wait, they're horses. I'm trying to imagine putting myself in her horse shoes. And honestly, if I was her age, dealt that hand, I can't really see myself or most people not acting, the same way, because it was brought up later. She doesn't want Quibble to replace her dad. And well, we'll get to that scene later. Point is that I think Clear Sky and Wind, I genuinely think those are two of some of the best written characters I've seen in this whole show. And we watched the episode with Applejack's parents, so that's pretty high praise.
Yeah. So it basically goes through where they're going through a museum and The only reason Rainbow Dash is there is because Applejack couldn't make it, so she wanted Rainbow Dash to go through and tell her about it. And I'm like, that
was
makes...
so. Oh God, I forgot about that. That was so flimsy.
I know, it's like, what the hell of an excuse was that?
Oh God, I mean, I don't even ship Apple Dash, but yo, Rainbow, you got stood up, bro.
So it eventually got to the point where he asked Rainbow Dash to help him become a sports pony. And oh my gosh,
this poor guy.
He literally tries to race Snips. And it's like, just imagine speed as you're going down and running.
I swear to God, I thought he was going to say, I am speed.
I swear to God, he sounded like Lightning McQueen. Ciao. But that happened. And speed. And then he's just stuck at the middle. It kind of reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick was trying to coerce Rocky to move.
Oh yeah.
And then Rocky actually wins it because of the whole thing with the snails.
Gary's about to collapse from exhaustion, and Squidward's snail does a face turn. It helps Gary, and then Rocky wins the race. I don't know why I remember that so well.
Yellow, pink, you do care.
Well, I mean that's like a 6-year difference between episodes.
Yeah. But then I keep thinking of that one joke at the very end. This was white when I bought it. Oh my gosh.
You know, these were white when I bought it. Anyway, so yeah. And I need to say something. I appreciated that they didn't do something really obvious and dumb that they could have done, which is Clear Sky misinterpreting Quibble and Rainbow Dash's friendship. And, because
they were lovers at one point.
Yeah, because, I mean, they're friendly with each other. They're bros, right? And, and they spent over half the episode together. And he was like, yeah, well, I'll catch up with Rainbow Dash for a bit. You guys go on. I appreciated that. Not only once did Clear Sky not, express jealousy or dishonesty, because that would have undermined her sympathetic qualities. She was just like, okay, cool. She was cool with Rainbow Dash. She was cool with Quibble Pants hanging out with his friend, his female friend. And I appreciate that they didn't try to have some miscommunication kills bullcrap, because you know what that would have led to? That would have led to Windsprint being like, oh my God, Quibble's not faithful to my mom. I'm gonna try to break him up. And you guys already know how that plot line would go, what the resolution would be, and they didn't do that at all. And I love the episode more for it.
Mm-hmm. I agree, because that would have made it
would have been so much worse.
Yeah. So that happens. And then it gets to the point where they're in the stadium and it's Team Ponyville going up against Spectator Ponies, which is Quibble Pants and Windsprint.
Oh yeah, because
it's like a halftime show sort of thing.
Yeah, which, two quick things. One, Quibble was like, hey, I got cool sports friends. And she's like, well, that doesn't make you a sports pony. And Rainbow Dash is like, yeah, well, you guys are going to play at the halftime show. Quibble is what? And number two, what?
Yeah.
First off, I don't care if she technically helped helped the sport go mainstream. I don't care if Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy are the Ric Flair and Kenny, or whatever his name is, Von Erich of their division. How and why was it? And everybody was watching. Oh my God! Immediately, as soon as Rainbow Dash instead. You guys are gonna play halftime. I put my head in my hands like so. I knew immediately where it was gonna go, and I thought to myself, just why? On like 18 levels, why? And look, they called out Rainbow Dash for having dumb ideas, but Jesus, holy God, I thought I don't know if I thought it was dumb because the show told me I was supposed to think it was dumb, and ergo I think it's dumb, or because I think it's dumb as a literary device. Point is, I was cringing so hard.
But at least it's not like Equestria Games where it's legitimately cringy. Like the concept was cringy, but the execution wasn't.
That's my point, is that I cringed because I was supposed to cringe, but still, I just felt so bad for Quibble. And they're getting embarrassed, too, in front of a stadium of people. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, a stadium of dots with circling flags.
Yeah, everyone was making fun of that by how cheap the crowds were.
God, it sounds like a modern day EA racing game. Am I right?
Okay, so the halftime show goes horrible.
And I love how they score another point. They score a point for Ponyville. And two things here. One, it reminded me of when I used to play FIFA 2002. And I would intentionally switch over to the other team and get a couple goals off of that and watch the cutscene of the ref giving a red card to the player. Just be like, what the fuck are you doing? Because the goalie wouldn't block a shot for your own net.
Right.
And it was just so funny. But then I love how Quibble comes up and opens the book, and it clearly says here on page number 671 that a goal is made when an Earth Pony kicks it into the bat, or a Pegasus kicks it into the basket. It does not say which side. And Raymond is like, dude, everyone knows that's how that is. Why is it in the rule book?
Quibble Pants was technically not wrong.
Yeah. Technically.
On a technicality, he was pseudo not incorrect. That's what we call that's a loophole, as we say, with people like mine and John's sized brains. So what happens next is, now this is a case of poor communication, but it was like the one time in the episode, so I mostly allowed it, where Clear Sky tells Quibble, I told you that you didn't need to try so hard. We need to rethink some things, and then goes after Windsprint. You know, this should tell you how much I like the episode. Remember when we saw the first episode with Quibble Pants? I couldn't remember his name. Or any time we see an episode with new characters, I can never remember their name. Like the freaking like the original 6. I can't even remember the young 6. But I remember Windsprint and Clear Sky. That should tell you how good this episode is. Anyway, so he's sulking. And Ash is like, dude, I still got ideas for to turn you into a sports pony. And Quibble's like, LeMayo, nope, bruh, Rafflecopter. And then she's like, well, hey, you know what? You know all those times that you said you didn't want to listen to me and shouldn't go with my ideas? He's like, yeah. You probably should have. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, maybe stop trying to be a sports pony. He's like, what? And she's like, well, I mean.
Well, what?
And this is the part I liked. She said, well, do you think I'm the pony that you should have gone to help for? And I gotta be honest, a light bulb went off in my head. Not for the same reason Quibble Pants did, but because I was like, oh my God, dude, Rainbow Dash just said that she's not helpful at all in this situation. I thought that was so funny. I howled with laughter. I thought that was so funny because I'm like, dude, Rainbow Dash literally just said that she cannot help this situation. She said she's the wrong pony for the job. I don't know why. I thought that was the funniest thing. She had outright say it too. It was an implication. And I was just like, oh my God. Hey, all those seasons I used to rag on her and Twilight for inconsistencies. This is a bit of character growth, So, Twilight's been good since season 5. Rainbow Dash still hit and miss, but you know what? Yeah, no, that was great and funny. So then here's one of my favorite scenes in the episode where Wind Sprint and Clear Skies I think they're back at the museum and they're talking. And Clear Sky says, look, I know Quibble tried too hard, but he's just trying to be cool with you. And then she's like, I don't want him to replace Dad. And then she said, and this is what I was going to say earlier. I loved the wording of this so much because it plays into something Quibble Pants said earlier. What he said earlier was he doesn't want to be, he said something like he doesn't want to be a part of the family if Windsprint isn't cool with it. Mm-hmm. And he directly mentioned he doesn't want to just kind of barge his way in. So Clear Sky says, this is the line. She says, you don't have to stop loving your dad, but maybe you could try liking Quibble. It was something like that. I think I paraphrased. And like the wording and the delivery was so great because...
And I love how it's the kind of thing where it's basically saying you don't have to stop loving your dad. Quibble's not here to replace your dad.
Yeah.
But he is here to still love you like one of his own. You know?
Mm-hmm. And that scene is powerful. That scene is written well. That scene is acted well. And what happens next is acted well too. Patton Oswalt shows up. Oh my God. Quibble Pants shows up. And he's like, look, kid, I'm sorry, all right? Can we start over? Maybe you teach me about buckball. And when you're a kid, and maybe I'm just remembering this based on my childhood memories. When you're a kid and you like something, and I mean you really like something, like a game or a sport or a TV show or something, and you watch it, you play it, you immerse yourself in it. Because when you're a kid, there's so many other things that we think about in our daily lives that you just don't even think about as a kid, you know? And when someone asks you, hey, what's this? Do you want to explain this to me? What is this? A kid is never more stoked than when they get to invite someone into their world, teach them about this thing that means so much to them. When you're older, like you're an adult or something like that, to normal society, it looks weird. If 24-year-old me was to try to enthusiastically explain why I like this show to people, which is technically what we've been doing for the last 5 years, it looks weird. It looks different. People take so many things into consideration. But when you're a kid, and I guess this could lend into an argument about double standards, but that's not the point I'm trying to get at. When you're a kid, and when at that period, so much of your world is the things you enjoy, you get you get happy at the idea of someone wanting to share that with you. And because I'm bringing this up because I saw some people think that when Sprint came around to him too quickly and stuff, but to me that made perfect sense because I just remember if I was a kid, similar situation, I would have thought, oh, well, I still don't know how to feel about this person, but they want me to tell them about stuff. That's cool. Kids love explaining to people why they like stuff, and they love expressing what they makes it cool. Everyone loves doing that. Humans doing that. But when you're an adult versus when you're a kid, you're you're subconsciously building a bridge with you building a bridge so that two people can walk across and meet. When you're an adult, it's more like you're lending out your hand for like a mental handshake. Whereas when you're a kid, you're taking the time to draw up the bridge, build the bridge brick by brick, and then walk across that bridge and then hug each other in the middle. Whereas basically when you're older and you talk to people and you explain stuff to people, or you find someone that has similar interests with you, it's basically the equivalent of a fist bump. Anyway, point is, they're watching the thing, and he leans over to Clear Sky, and he's like, look, I know you're thinking of calling it quits with me, but I was just trying to, be a part of Win Sprint's life or something. I forget what he said. And then she said, what? I don't want to call it quits with you. I was just saying we should probably rethink you listening to Rainbow Dash for advice. And then that's where the miscommunication happened. But I was like, you know what? This shit was so good, I don't even care that much. So, and then the episode ends with them all having a laugh. And I finished the episode, and I immediately said to myself, Gen 5 needs to be a Quibble Pants spinoff. I want to see this family. It's great. Kids shows need more stuff like that. The gender of the parents and the gender of the kids, that can be whatever. But kid shows, I think, need more single parents. Well, there's a lot of single parents, but let me rephrase. I mean single parents moving on. Now, granted, this was a 20-minute episode with a beginning, middle, and end. It would be hard to stretch that off across an entire season. But my point is that this show did it just fine. This has to be one of my favorite episodes. This is my favorite episode this season for sure, so far, except for probably the premiere. But that's because Sombra, despite his voice actor, Sombra's the GOAT. So anyway. The whole point I'm trying to make here is that it was great.
I'll say this. The whole speech you had just a minute ago, very elegantly spoken. I agree. What would you rate this?
What would you rate this? Because I think I know what I want to give it, but...
I give this a 9. Because it's definitely a really, really good episode. There's not anything wrong with it, but again, it's one of those things where it doesn't reach the level of a 10 for me.
As I was talking about it, I was feeling a 10, but here's what I'm going to do. For now, I'm going to give this episode a 9.25, but I'm going to rewatch the episode before we do our retrospect just so I can get a second opinion. And then when we get to that episode, I'll tell you, not 9.25. I'll give it 9.5. I'll give it 9.5 because I genuinely love this episode. But, so when we get to that episode in the retrospective, I can be like, does it hold up as a 9.5, or is it better than 9.5, or is it not as good as 9.5? I know you write these down, so put down a 9.5 subject to change.
Okay.
Or change pending, whatever. But
okay.
Yeah, no, this was great. The season's really good, except for that fluke of a third episode. Mm-hmm. We in it, boys. We got it.
Hold up. We them boys.
Hold up. We them boys. Okay, so next week's episode.
By the way, Snakeskin told me he was going to wait until the end here to let me know and to see my reaction.
Just exactly what I was going to say. Check this out, boys. So I read the synopsis for the next episode, and I can't quite tell you why, but I chuckled and I laughed, and I thought to myself, oh my God, this has the potential to be really good. Check this out. Did you ever see that movie, She's All That?
No.
Well, this episode's called She's All Yak. And here's a synopsis. When Sandbar asks Yana to a pony dance, she goes to Rarity and her friends for a makeover in appearance and personality.
First of all,
OTP, boys, I think I called that.
Sandbar and Yoda?
I think that was one of the ones I had called, but I can't remember. I know I paired the two flying ones, but I couldn't remember who I paired Yak and Sandbar with. Point is, I think I called that one.
The
OT
only
point
thing,
Grease dance episode.
the only ship I truly remember is Gallus and Sandbar. I'm just like, what the hell? But Sandbar and Yoda?
Hey man, you know what that means? See, remember how I always said that Sandbar was a total Californian dude or whatever because of the surfer accent? Now I know he's California because he likes his girls thick.
And I'll say this. There is a picture in which I think I sent this to you. There is a picture that is literally Yona just looking with a straight face, and underneath it says, "Let me smash." I'm just like, Sandbar gonna get smashed, okay?
Death
And
by
secondly, she's getting a makeover from Rarity. My cheeks are hurting from how much I am literally stifling laughter.
Dude, right? It's gonna that next episode. I hope I don't get my hopes up too high, bruh. That episode's gonna be up. It's gonna be insane, dude. Like the next episode's like tame in comparison, but this next episode I'm so stoked for because I'm like, how is that gonna go down? Is Sandbar just gonna be like, yo, what's up, Yana? Bro, do you wanna like go to the dance? And Yana's like, Yak don't want death by Snoo Snoo. And then she goes to Rarity to yeah, dude.
Did you just reference Chrono Trigger?
You know exactly what the hell I referenced.
It's like, and so Ayla knows she can't get no Snoo Snoo anymore. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of that Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, shut up. Oh, what an asshole.
Oh, man. But yeah, I can't wait for that. That episode better be an 11 or I'm going to quit the fandom.
Oh, man. So, yeah, next week should be fun. And I believe June is when they're doing a mid-season break.
Yeah, and there's also a special coming out in June, too. I just read that today.
Oh, cool.
Apparently the ponies lose their color or something. Something. I don't know.
But if the synopses keep going, I think we'll probably do a video during the mid-season break about, hey, this is the synopsis for some of these episodes.
Yeah, knock on wood, none of the episodes have leaked yet, like the last 2.5 seasons. So
I know where they were on Boomerang like 3 days early or something.
Yeah, or we would find weird, or I watched at least a couple MLP episodes that didn't have sound.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I thought that was artistic choice until I was halfway through them, and I'm like, wait a gosh darn minute. How is this possible? There were no crowd noises. There were no background noises. I'm like, how did these get leaked? I mean, I wasn't complaining, because those are the only ones Hasbro won't take down, but... Anyway, so yeah, I can't wait for next week's episode. So I don't want to commit to anything, but tentatively speaking, I think I should be around to do the review on Saturday.
Okay.
And I'm bringing that up because I'm doing something Friday, but I know I'm not doing something Saturday. I don't think I'm doing something Sunday, and I don't think I have anywhere to be. And again, I'm bringing that up because, dude, I only want to wait 5 days to watch that episode. I don't want to wait like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Because I watch my episodes. It should
be either Saturday or Sunday, so
we'll talk it out. But yeah.
So yeah, that's it from me, John.
And me, Snakeskin.
And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Adios.